Hey Astro Kids, and welcome back. And this will be my interpretation of the Sun Mahadasha Bhukti periods. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. So, what are the Mahadasha Bhuktis? Well, if you see my longer video on the Sun Mahadasha period, I will leave a link for that above and down below in the description. The Mahadasha is a period where a planet takes hold of your life. So there are specific lessons and challenges and experiences, opportunities that are related to that particular graha that has taken control over your life. And of course, you want to see where is the sun placed in your natal chart? What sign is it in? Is it happy in that sign? Is it being aspected? Is it in conjunction? All of this will make a huge difference in how the sun will play out. And of course, you want to see how the sun is placed in your D9 Navamsa as well. If the sun is in a difficult position in your natal chart, but is in a positive placement in your D9, this can also help to improve the results of the sun. The Bhuktis are individual sections within the main period. So within the Sun Mahadasha, there are going to be individual periods. And this is going to show the different phases that you will go through throughout the entire Sun Mahadasha. So when you first get into the Sun Mahadasha, first of all, the Sun Mahadasha is a very special period in one's life because the sun is representing the soul. So the sun is what gives us life, what gives us purpose, what gives us direction. The sun is all about our morals, our duty, our obligation. It is all about our true purpose and direction in life. So what have we come here to do in this lifetime? This can be found by your sun sign. The sun also has to do with your health and vitality, so your health can be impacted very strongly during the Sun Mahadasha. Along with that, the sun has to do with government, leadership, father figures, mentors, anyone in a position of authority. So you also can have very strong connections that can either be challenging or helpful during the Sun Mahadasha period. Along with this, the sun is excellent for creativity and education. Of course, the sun is the natural ruler of Leo, and Leo resides as the natural fifth sign in the zodiac. So that fifth house that is all about creativity, speculation, education, all about fame, all of this is related to the sun. For the most part, the sun is what gives us our purpose, our strength, our direction. But when the sun is in a challenging position, it can create conflict, specifically related to the ego. So you do want to pay attention to if your sun is negatively placed within your chart and making sure that you are not getting yourself involved into these conflicts. So starting off here, as you come into the sun period, this will be a 3-month period. And this is a bit of a difficult period because you're still transitioning out of the last period of Venus. So that Venus Mahadasha was all about enjoyment, was all about the physical sensory experience. But as you come into the Sun Mahadasha, again, it's about your purpose, your direction. And so there's a huge shift that is taking place. The Sun and Venus are not friends with one another. And so coming into the Sun period, there can be confusion, there can be some challenges and conflicts that are coming up in this area. At the same time, though, all of the indicators of the sun start to become active. So this can be a great time to tap into your creativity, into your skills. This can give you a ton of motivation and self-confidence to drive forward in life, and you can get support from your father. You can get support through the government, support through people in positions of power and authority. This can also be excellent for your career success. Whether you are looking for a new job, if you are working within a job, you can find promotion, you can find yourself leveling up. This can also be a time if you are self-employed where you can get very strong recognition for your business. And again, this is going to especially affect you if you have the sun strongly placed within your natal chart. This can be a time where you are feeling more energetic, more alive. This can be very good for your health and vitality. On the negative side, though, again, you can see conflicts around ego issues. So you want to be very careful if the sun is placed in a challenging position in the chart. This can make you very impatient, very much at unease, unrest when it comes to your goals and ambitions, where there is a lack of fulfillment in this area. So this can cause a lot of conflict, a lot of disappointment for some of you when this is placed in a difficult position. And you want to be cautious of this because this can lead to disputes, arguments, difficulties with people in positions of authority. Following this is a 6-month period of Sun Moon. And this is excellent because the Sun and Moon go really well together. Sun and Moon are always close to one another within the chart, and they are not enemies. So this can help you a lot with your home environment, with your connection to your family. For some of you, you can change residence. You can see all sorts of changes, redecoration, re-innovation having to do with the home environment. And this can create a lot of peace and happiness in your connection with your family members. This can be an excellent time for your creative expression as well. Both the Sun and Moon are creative. So this is excellent for anything that you want to create, that you want to express, that you want to put towards your career, your endeavors. All of this is very strong coming into this Sun Moon. So this is a very solid period that is usually very peaceful, very much about being in this space of clear judgment and happiness and support and fulfillment. So you feel nurtured coming into this Sun Moon period. On the other hand, though, if the Sun and Moon are placed in challenging positions within your natal chart, there can be conflicts with the mother, with motherly figures or females in general. Following this is a 4-month period of Sun Mars. And this is another excellent period because Sun and Mars are great friends with one another. And so coming into this Sun Mars, these are both fiery grahas. So this can give you a ton of strength, of energy, of enthusiasm. This is an excellent time to drive ahead. And you can feel the stamina, the energy, the determination to work hard, to achieve more at this time. And this can help you in your reputation. It can help you in how you are being seen by authority figures. Sun Mars can also create changes within the home similar to Sun Moon because Mars rules over real estate. So this could be a time if you're thinking about moving in that Sun Moon period where you're getting good opportunities as far as new locations. Sun Mars can definitely make you feel very confident, very sure of yourself. Again, very determined, very ambitious at this time. So this is all about your growth, and you can see growth in your income for those of you who are focused in on your work. If you're focused on education, you can also see some success in this area as well. You can gain the support of mentors, of teachers, of people who are in your favor who can help you to progress forward in your education. So this is an excellent time overall for this forward progression. On the negative side though, if you do have Sun and Mars placed in challenging positions within your chart, there can be difficulties. The shadow side of Mars is getting into those arguments, those ego battles, being too controlling, all sorts of situations around stress, anger. So this can cause some difficulties for you. And so on this negative side, if you're getting into conflicts and difficulties, this is definitely a time to practice any sort of techniques that can help you to calm down. This can increase your stress levels and negatively affect your health. With this difficult placement of Sun Mars, this also can mean that you are not getting the support from authority figures. At the same time though, Mars and Sun again are friends with one another, so you can still use this to your advantage, use this energy in a constructive way to get the results that you want. Following this is a 10-month period of Sun-Rahu, and this is very challenging because Sun and Rahu are not friends with one another. Keep in mind that in the story of the churning of the ocean of milk, that the Sun was the one who ratted out Rahu for being an imposter. So these two do not get along with one another. And so at this time, this can definitely be a situation of all sorts of difficulties around confusion, around unexpected events, misfortune. It can be a position where you are dropping down to a lower level in your status for some of you. You want to be very careful about any sort of deception. You want to make sure that you're looking over all of the small print, that you are making moves carefully at this time. Rahu can create illusions that are going to blind your clarity and direction. Remember that Rahu is always going to eclipse the sun when we go into a solar or lunar eclipse. So this is definitely a time of darkness, of this shadow of Rahu coming in. And so this is a time to really use discernment, to be very careful about every decision that you are making, to be very careful about how you are approaching your connections with authority figures. This can get you into all sorts of situations if you're not being cautious. Following this is a Sun-Jupiter period, which is a 9-month period. And this is excellent because Sun and Jupiter are great friends with one another. And Jupiter's agenda is always to help us, as Jupiter is a benefic. Jupiter wants to expand our lives, to give us opportunities, to give us support. Jupiter is the guide. So as Sun and Jupiter come together during this 9-month period, this is definitely a time of happiness, of calmness, of steadiness. This can help you to make clearer decisions compared to the Sun-Rahu period. So this is definitely excellent for planning, for taking steps forward, for expanding upon your success and direction. This is excellent for any new job opportunities, new situations around education. This can help you improve in all areas of relationships, but especially around the father. This is an excellent time for getting the right support, getting the right mentors, the right guidance to move forward in the direction that you want to go in. Following this is a Sun-Saturn period of 11 months, and Sun and Saturn are not friends with one another. Remember that Sun is always going to sit opposite to Saturn, as Saturn is the ruler of Aquarius, Sun is the ruler of Leo, so these are in opposition. And Saturn is behind the scenes. It is a very introverted planet, where Sun is in the spotlight. So these are very much in contrast with one another. And Sun and Saturn, of course, are father and son, who have a complicated relationship in the mythology behind these grahas. So Sun and Saturn are not friends with one another. And so because of this, this can definitely be a time that brings a lot of stress, a lot of pressure, a lot of hard work is needed at this time, as Saturn is all about patience, discipline, structure. So this is definitely a time where there is more work, there is more diligence, more persistence that is needed in your career area. With Sun-Saturn, this can actually help you though, because Saturn never truly hurts us. Saturn only delays, only creates obstacles, but Saturn's whole agenda is to give us those long-lasting results. Saturn is all about longevity, and so this is actually an excellent combination for those of you who are willing to put in the work, to put in the effort, to remain patient and disciplined. This can get you to build solid foundation, to move up the ranks at this time. If you do have Saturn and Sun placed in difficult positions within your chart, you do want to pay very close attention to your health. Again, this Sun-Saturn period can put a lot of stress on you, a lot of pressure on you. So you want to make sure that you're taking time out for self-care, that you are doing those breathing practices, meditation, whatever it is that you need to calm yourself down. This is very important coming into this Sun-Saturn period. Following this is Sun-Mercury, and Sun and Mercury also go very well together. So this is excellent for your career. Mercury is the karaka of business. So especially for those of you who are self-employed or who are involved in business partnership, this can help you to move forward with new ideas and new changes. If you are in employment, then you also can see changes in your job as well. This may be a time of promotion. This may be a time of shifting to a different position or taking on a new role in some way. This can even be a time of getting a new job opportunity. You can also see some changes in your education as well, because Sun is related to education and so is Mercury. Mercury is all about the development of our skills and practical knowledge. So this can definitely change directions in your education, where you could take up a new course, you could find a new path at this time, all sorts of changes, new support coming in that can help you to move forward in your education. And this can help you with your recognition. This can help you with standing out and being noticed through your hard work and diligence. Following this is a Sun-Ketu period, which is a 4-month period. And Sun and Ketu are not necessarily enemies, but don't go well together. Remember that Ketu is still the other half of Rahu. So this can create some confusion and disturbances similar to Rahu. So this is definitely a time that should be more focused on spirituality rather than making some sudden decisions or pushing forward in life. This is a time of deep inner reflection, of going into deep contemplation, of meditation. This can be good for all sorts of mysticism and spirituality, getting into astrology, occult knowledge. All of this is directly related to Ketu. So this is a time to not try to blindly push ahead or to make any kind of impulsive decisions, as Ketu is also a very fiery planet. But Ketu is connected to the spiritual rather than the physical. So this is about going inward and connecting in with yourself, with your intuition, going ahead with your spirituality. Any sort of doubts, confusions, uncertainty, you want to move towards spirituality, and this will help to give you a clearer outlook. With Sun Ketu, you do want to be careful of ego issues. Ketu, remember, is all about letting go. It is about surrender. And so coming into this Sun Ketu, when you are trying to be forceful, when you're trying to make things happen, when you're running into conflicts with authority figures, this can create problems. So this is definitely a time to take the advice of authority figures, to accept the support of authority rather than trying to force things to happen. Following this is the last period of this Sun Mahadasha, which is Dasha Chidra. So there are always going to be intense transformations happening during the Dasha Chidra, as it is a changeover period into the next Dasha, which will be a Moon Mahadasha. So you are getting ready to move into this Moon Mahadasha, which is all about support, which is all about relationships, all about emotion and family and sentiment, all about this deep connection. So this is definitely a huge change because the sun is very much focused on your individual purpose, but the moon becomes about this emotional connection, this connection with your environment and the people around you. So coming into this Sun-Venus period, there can be a feeling of lack. This Sun-Venus period can definitely make you feel somewhat empty or lacking in the support or in the things that you truly desire. This Sun-Venus definitely gets you thinking long-term about what is it that you want, and especially around relationships, as Venus is all about bringing people together. It is all about relationships. It is all about happiness, all about being social. And so coming into this Sun-Venus period, if you are in a relationship, this is where you lay all the cards out on the table, where you come up with that long-term plan of what direction you want to go in your relationship. For some of you, this is all about coming to a compromise, coming to a decision about settling down, coming to a decision about children. All of this can come up during this Sun-Venus period. Now, Sun and Venus are enemies with one another, so you want to be careful with this because Venus is all about this enjoyment of the material world. So this can be a time where you are overspending, where you're making impulsive decisions based upon what you want to experience. So this is definitely a time to think about long-term decisions rather than short-term gratification coming into this Sun-Venus. This is a huge shift, so be prepared to transition into that Moon Mahadasha.